is that we understand the principles that we're going to stand on, and the first one is the consistent and uniform enforcement of law. That's what all civilization stands on.
The thing is, though, in terms of communication, the Marshall Rankin explanation of go local, knock on your door, I've tried to do that. Anyways, the point is YouTube and mass communication ends up being global. That doesn't matter if somebody in Pakistan finds out that you're trying to run as a Republican or a Democrat or whatever, or libertarian. You can do that, but I mean, the whole thing is, I think people have to realize is that the Federal Reserve, what they really do is mass communication hypnosis. And all of these agencies, the IRS, the Federal Reserve, the NSA, the CIA, they're all just communication organizations until somebody pulls a fucking trigger. And then it becomes something much, much more. It becomes much, much more real. The house is on fire at that point. So, I don't know, like, I just think that people are disconnected from the ledger, and the past 20 years has flushed us down the toilet beyond belief, and no one knows how bad this turd smells and how big the fuck... I don't know how deep that toilet bowl goes, but it's supposed to be the other way out. We're not supposed to be flushing down a toilet as a country. I mean, I don't know what Trump can do or what he's gonna do, but I think he needs to go like thermonuclear.
No, it's not. We should not. Okay, again, I'm about to wrap things up. Let's be clear. We are wasting. You will not come to a room with Diogenes Spooner, certainly, and hear any allowance for conversations about what we need political representatives to do. They work for you. It's what you need to do through them, fine. But you need to goddamn do it, motherfucker. I don't want to hear any goddamn things about what Trump needs to do. Shut the fuck up. Trump is not going to do any goddamn thing for you because you can't hold him accountable. And if you can't hold someone accountable, they won't do a goddamn thing for you. So, to be clear, it doesn't fucking matter what Donald Trump is capable of. You cannot hold him accountable, and you've proved it, because he's lied to you again and again and again and again. So get that fucking idea out of your head. It's not going to happen. It's a waste of fucking time. Lao Tzu is right. Our collective efforts should always produce a surplus. There should not be a national debt. The national debt is all the evidence that you need that the people who are responsible for financial, fiscal, economic policy in this country are enriching themselves and leaving you with the fucking tab with nothing to show for it. It's not going to be resolved by Donald Trump. It's not going to be resolved by Scott Besson. They're trying to figure out a way to reset the system and continue to own all of the real commodities, all of the real assets, to continue to enrich themselves, to continue to plunder the entire fucking planet. Completely in defiance of the rule of law. Completely in defiance of the consistent and uniform enforcement of the law. Completely in defiance of ideas of fairness and justice that you're fucking crippled with because you're afraid of violence.
Well, I don't think violence rectifies the communication. I think, that movie Cool Hand Luke, where I think it's a great quote. For some reason, I always come back to it, where he says, "What I think we have here is a failure to communicate." So I don't know if working on the communication solves the problem.
You misunderstood that scene. Because that scene is a joke. He's mocking him. He's not suggesting that there was a failure to communicate. He's mocking him, and he's saying, what I think we have here is a failure to communicate, to mock him to all of the other people who understand. He's just gonna, you do what he fucking tells you. You submit to him, or you get beat. So just fucking submit. And what he's saying is, you think that there's you have any kind of rights here? He's mocking him. He's not suggesting there's a failure of communication. There's no failure to communicate. And Cool Hand Luke is not failing to communicate either.
Okay, wait, let me ask you a historical question. If we were to analyze the time span of America and we were to isolate, like, what was the optimal, set design? What was the optimal balance? Like, what years was that in the American, record, I suppose?
That's a stupid question. I'm not gonna justify it.
Well, everything should be based off of that average.
Kick him.
In the audience or all the way?
To the audience for now.
It's a good question.
It's a stupid
What was the
question.
best average?
Implication of the question is this idea, how, if we were going to make America great again, where in the past would we put the pin to make America great again? The idea, my son asked me some questions about voting. He asked me, he recently asked me some questions about something that requires just an enormous collection of data. I regularly talk about, statistics and things like this and the faults therein. I forget what exactly it was we were talking about, but the bottom line is he's asking me, Dad, why do you disagree with this number? And I told him, because, you're never going to be able to collect data at that scale and have certainty that it is correct. There is going to be a massive margin of error. And you don't see discussions about the margin of error because it's not prudent to do that. If you provide margins of error, you'll be held accountable. So the idea that you're going to find some point in time and you're going to put a pin in it in the past and say that was when America was great requires a quantification that we are not capable of. It is a waste of time. It is a waste of conceptual resources to try and imagine with our limited capacity, our limited experience, our limited lifespan, to say when in the past is the best place that we should look back longingly to. It's just so fucking fatalistic and dead. It is a waste. It is a stupid fucking question. Don't think about where in the past were things better. Let's try to rigidly enforce things in the past because we live in an ever-changing, ever-evolving world. We have technologies that they could not have conceived. I mean, there's so many things. There's so many good reasons. We have to live now, here, locally, in our communities, and we have to demand, first and foremost, the consistent and uniform conception or enforcement of law, because the conception of law is the foundation for civilization. That is a tool that we have that we can use to enter into a social contract, and when it is consistently and fairly and uniformly enforced, helps us definitively understand who our friends and who our enemies are. When we are being cheated, when we are being exploited, and when we are being prospered. So it's a stupid question. Anyways, I've got to go. It's good to see you guys. Just remember, cheerleading Trump is not solving anything. It is not until we directly involve ourselves in our communities and we gain the courage necessary to confront the problem ourselves that we even begin to understand the problem for what it is so that we can address the problem. Godspeed.
I don't have really any plans. Many people are thinking they're going to become a, ATP pilot, right?
Yeah, well, a lot of people become a trainer so that they can get their hours up.
Oh yeah, that's just